my special.
Hello. I hope none of the rest of you were there for the jump scare. I'm so sorry about that. For those of you that were there, I'm sorry. I was listening to music before I put on the lo-fi, and I forgot I had things in the queue. So, Quantum, you should be happy it was specials. I got jump scared by "You Are My Special." I was like freaking terrified. I was so chillin', and then specials started playing. I'm so sorry for the JJK jump scare. Hi. Teehee. Let me. Okay. Hi. Let me turn that down. Hi. Hello. I'll just re-listen to the song 20 more times today to make up for it. Me too, me too, me too, me too, me too. It's playing in my head all of the time. Hello! Welcome to the stream. Hello, hi! I'm here, hi! So, yesterday was a rough one. Let's unpack it just like a little, okay, everybody? For those of you who don't know, or those of you who aren't on the theorist side of YouTube, Matthew Patrick of Game Theory, Film Theory, Style Theory, Food Theory, GT Live has yesterday announced that he was going to be retiring from the channels. Honestly, the most devastating news I could have ever heard. I cried for like 2 hours. I'm gonna be real. So that's why stream was canceled yesterday, because I knew I didn't have it. I didn't have like the mental wherewithal to be able to like Teehee Stardew Valley, haha Shane, because I was so sad. But tomorrow will be Stardew Valley instead, because tomorrow's gonna be the last day before I go on my trip. So we'll play Stardew tomorrow. But I do want to talk about MatPat, because honestly, as much as because before I would say that Toma is the reason why we're here. If I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna be real, I think it's MatPat. I've been watching Game Theory for years. I'd say maybe 11 years since I started. Game Theory's 13 years old, right? So I think it's been like 11-ish years since I started watching Game Theory. And honestly, it really formed the games that I like to play and what I like to do and how I think about games and stuff and like other media. It formed that, really. And I genuinely I do remember watching some streams as a kid, but I feel like the first like stream I ever like really watched was GT Live. And that was on YouTube. And I think that's why I'm here on YouTube specifically, but also I think that's why I like streaming, because back in the day, back in the old times of GT Live, it was like live tweeting with the hashtag, and like we'd have to remind them to turn on the sprinklers every stream at like 3 p.m. I remember being more active. I've never been more active in a stream chat than I was when it came to GT Live. And I think as a streamer who streams on YouTube, GT Live is like one of the pioneers of like regularly streaming on YouTube, even though they don't do it anymore and they just really post like unedited like gaming content now, or like majorly unedited gaming content. Like it's still like they were like the first, like one of the first big channels to like really regularly stream on YouTube and like play games while streaming on YouTube and use it as if you use Twitch. And I think that was cool. I think that was like something that nobody really did yet on YouTube, and they really like kicked it off, in my opinion. Basically, Matthew Patthew is dad. He is my father. And anybody who says otherwise is wrong. He is my father. And he will not be a grandpa until I get married and have children. Then he can be a grandpa. Papa Imai is Matt Pat. Yes. He is Papa Imai. From now on, Matthew Patthew will be only referred to as Papa Imai. It's really funny. But yeah, no, Matt Pat, I think, honestly, Matt Pat introduced me to Nate Wants to Battle. I wouldn't have gotten into Nate Wants to Battle if it wasn't for MatPat, and literally every song you hear on stream is lo-fi versions of his songs or songs that his label has made. Literally, like, there are so many things that are connected directly to Matthew Pathu in my daily life, that the fact that he's going to be gone in 9 weeks is crazy. It's genuinely insane to think about. It's like, I have a lot of like ways of describing this, but one of my favorite ways is like moving out of your parents' house. Like, you lived with them every single day. You see them every single day. But now you're moving out to do better things, and you're not going to see your parents as much. And you'll still see them every once in a while, but it's not like an everyday thing. It's rough, though. I really did cry for a while. Matthew Patrick, Matt Pat, the man, the myth, the legend. The Matthew of all Patricks. He will always be a very integral part of YouTube and a lot of people's lives, even if he's not around as much. And honestly, as soon as that lore-fi drops, we're doing it. We're freaking solving it here. I'm telling you now, nothing can stop me from trying to solve lore-fi on stream, okay? Nothing! Not a thing. Not a singular thing, okay? Nothing. He is the biggest FNAF enthusiast, even though he might not want to be. That is what he is. But also, I was watching FNAF before, or not FNAF. I was watching MatPat before FNAF, I think. When did FNAF come out? What year are we in? What is math? When was the first FNAF theory? Wasn't the first FNAF theory the one where 2014? The first FNAF theory was the one where he was like, oh my gosh, it's like this actual real murder case, right? It'll be 10 this year. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I was watching MatPat before that then. Wow. That's insane. Like, I can't tell if I'm getting old or like if this is just how things work. Like, is it crazy that all of these streamers are like retiring around the same time, or all these like YouTubers are retiring around the same time, or are we just getting old? Is this just what happens? Like, I don't know. They're moving away and making room for new people, because that's just what happens. Somebody leaves and it makes the space for a new person to take over. And I think that's actually legitimately insane to think about. Because you see it on like TV shows where like some person will leave the show. Back in the day, someone would leave the show and then a new character will be introduced, and it made the way for that new character to become like an integral part of the show. Like, that's how stuff happens. But like, real life feels weird. Real life feels so freaking weird. And YouTube feels weird because also, especially with MatPat, more than anyone else, I feel like it's normal to like stop watching a YouTuber for a few years, like to grow out of it, and then you like get to the point where it's like, oh, I forgot about them, I wonder what they're doing, and you look and they haven't posted in a while, and that's normal. Like, you just like grow out of it. But with all of the theory channels, I never grew out of it. Like, I watched that every week. I watched every episode every week. Except for when there were spoilers for things that I wanted to see. But then after I saw it, I would go back and watch it. Like every single one. There was never a time where I just, like, decided, or it just became, like, a normal thing where I didn't watch Game Theory as much. I still watched Game Theory every week. So the fact that it's happening, like, at a point where I feel like I haven't grown out of it yet, and it's leaving without me, is weird. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, I should be done talking. I just say things. I just speak words. I should stop, though, because there's gonna be maintenance on Lovebrush Chronicles in, like, 3 hours. So we have to play the game. We gotta play it. We gotta play. We gotta play before the maintenance hits us, and then we're dead. We have to play until we can't anymore. And then if we're still chill to keep going, we should play Tears of Themis. But if we're not, and I'm done for the day, then 3 hours stream confirmed. Never. But we'll see. Let me get the... achievements. Hog. Okay. So, where were we? Friend went on stage. We met hot men. We met these hot men. Kale isn't technically a part of it. We met these hot men. We made a friend. We went to go see her perform. A magic circle appeared on the stage. Butterflies erupted from the magic circle. We went up to go help her and get her out of the magic circle, but she collapsed on the floor and became unresponsive. And then we isekai'd into the dreams that we've been having, that we've been writing our manga about. That is the most brief of descriptions I have ever given of this game, and you should be proud of me. Now we are in we've been isekai'd for real. We're in a whole different world. I should turn this down like a teensy. Okay. Oh, this is where it all begins. Isekai for real? Yeah. After all, my Illustra has already been exposed. Oh yes, we have powers in this world. Pog. And, like, it's like... Alcade... This world's Alcade was like, you shouldn't show anybody that you have powers. And then this world's Clarance, like, had a sneak attack performed on us. And so now we're trying to... We tried to save ourselves, like, instinctively. And now he knows we have powers. And he might not be that happy about it. I'm gonna be honest.
もう十分だ。それとも俺の宮殿を壊すつもりか？
いいでしょう。終わりにします。
With a wave of his hand, Archmage Clarance casts what I assume to be some crude frost magic at me. However, I was foolish to underestimate his spell, and suddenly my entire body is frozen solid, unable to muster up the willpower to break free. My body is completely paralyzed. My consciousness fades and my thoughts become blurred. Slowly, darkness overcomes me.
彼女を傷つけはしません。ただ、降臨の儀式で何かあっては困りますので。
So you guys know the title of this stream? Like how, like, when we got isekai'd, we were in a cage. Like, we came back and we were in a cage. He's gonna do it again. I hear his voice, which is distant but still audible. It sounds like he's making a promise. His voice is the last thing I hear before slipping into unconsciousness. long time passes. We're in a cage again. Anyway, I open my eyes and take in my surroundings. Looking around, I realize I'm familiar with this place. It's the room with the bird cage. A cramped and wretched place surrounded by vines. The only difference now is that the vines are thicker than before, making escape even more unlikely. On the other side of the cage, someone is staring right at me. Archmage Clarance. Having locked me up in here, he remains cold and withdrawn. Oh.
彼女を見張れ。
I didn't mean to do that. The Archmage issues a command to another mage stationed in the room.
この部屋には誰も入れるな。安全のためだ。
Sorry, putting on chapstick. The young mage nods and acknowledges the order. Can't help but speak out. If locking me up is what makes you feel safe, then you must be quite an insecure bunch. Archmage Clarance ignores me and turns to leave without hesitation. I yell after him. Are you not going to explain why you're doing this? He doesn't offer a reply. It seems he is unwilling to stay in this room any longer than he needs to. After a while, I hear a familiar laugh from outside the cage.
威勢がいいな。シーラン教に歯向かうやつを見るのは久しぶりだ。
I kind of really love Lars. There's so much to Lars that I can't explain, but I kind of really love him. Clarence is still my favorite, but Lars... he's kind of really freaking silly. I love him. He started it. I was protecting myself. But it doesn't matter. I lost in the end.
あいつを怒らせることができただけでも十分だ。勝ち負けなど関係ないだろう。
He just wants a little silly things to happen. He just wants to see stuff happen. Like nothing happens. And so he's just like, ah, you made him angry. That's really funny. Why does Lars always focus on the strangest things? Can you just tell me what you're planning? Just tell me why you've brought me to this world. Lars lets out a gentle sigh before hearing my blunt question. Upon hearing my blunt question, he remains silent for a moment before responding.
氷潮がこの大陸を蝕み続けている。魔法塔でさえお手上げの状態だ。いろいろと策を講じてきたが、どれも失敗に終わった。だがある時、最強の魔術師であるシーラン教が特殊な解決法を見つけたんだ。それは降臨の儀式と呼ばれる魔法陣で、この大陸の人間を無人の世界に送り込むことが、お前は俺たちが探し当てた魔法陣の生贄だ。
So Lamau, we're gonna freaking die. As Lars explains, I'm overwhelmed with a sense of dread. No, surely you aren't serious. If you can cast a spell to travel between worlds, then why'd you summon me of all people? Why not summon someone more powerful? If you just summon someone who can deal with those butterflies, like some big muscly hero or something, then you shouldn't have to go through all this trouble. I mean, it doesn't have to be a person. I don't know. Perhaps you could have summoned a flame toad from another realm. You know, some animal that likes eating glacial butterflies or something. I'm sure that would have been way more useful than me.
確かにその通りかもな。
It's too late now, Lamau.
じゃあ、蝶の天敵や凄腕のハンターを知っていたら、ぜひ紹介してくれないか?
No. Of course I don't know anyone like that. I was just spitballing. We can think this through together and come up with a solution. Lars just shakes his head. It's it's quite clear that he's already reached a conclusion. I don't remember this conversation in the slightest. Can we talk about that? I played this literally like 2 months ago. They'd be like, you have a point, but oh well, you're here now. I thought this would unfold like the stories in my manga. It ends with a wedding on Daphnephoria, following me waking up from the stream. But then I saw that the glacial butterflies are actually the core of the story. If I could find a way to deal with them before Daphnephoria, then I could return home. However, inside this cage, there's nothing I can do but sit and accept my death. If I'm going to survive this, I need to do something drastic. I peer at Lars through the bars of the cage, trying to cling on to my last chance of survival. So, you went through all of this trouble to bring me here to sacrifice me. That's literally your entire plan?
この前も今のように腹を割って話してくれれば。
陛下、ご冗談を。彼女の内なる力は特別です。他の方法を探るなど、不測の事態を起こしかねません。
I'm repositioning chords. I apologize.
今回の失敗は許されないのです。
おいおい、シーラン教がまたごちゃごちゃ言い出したぞ。まあ、お前を生贄にすると決めたのもこいつだしな。
I love the dynamic between Lars and Clarence, because Clarence is so stuck in his ways. Like, I'm not gonna show emotion. We have to just get this done. We just do the job. Stop talking to me. And Lars is literally like, ah, okay, but like, what if we, hey, wait, here, I'm gonna, look at this button, push. Like, that's, like, that's literally all Lars does. Can you not see how immoral you're being? Lars chuckles as if he reads my mind.
そうだな。俺がシーラン教の提案に乗ったのは事実だ。イエスイの皇帝として、俺には民の命を守る責任がある。だが、お前に人生最後の数日を楽しく過ごしてほしかったことも、また事実だ。
Your Majesty, your ability to shift blame is really quite astonishing.
そうは言わないが、忠告はしておく。お前が魔術に似た力を持っていることは、すでに皆が知っている。シーランがお前をここに閉じ込めているのは、お前のことを疑っているからだ。おそらく、ここには魔術を制限する力が仕掛けられているはずだ。ここにある花は、すべてシーランが召喚したもの。見ろ。見るからに痛そうなトゲが生えている。下手な真似をすれば、どうなるか想像つくだろ?
He speaks with a neutral tone that doesn't resemble a threat of any kind. In fact, it's almost like he's describing an irrefutable reality. So you expect me to just sit here and await my fate? And what good would that do me? Look, if I agree to cooperate, can we at least sit down and talk this through? Lars does not respond right away. However, I can already tell from his expression that the answer is no. A few more moments pass before he speaks.
すまない。
I love Lars. Gosh dang it, I can't explain anything. I know his story, but I want to talk about him, but I can't. Because it's all spoilers. We'll get to it. He then turns to leave Archmage Clarance without saying a word. Oh, leave with him. They both leave Lamau. They said bye. They said, good luck, girly pop. Have fun in your cage. The goddess has been returned to the sacrificial chamber. I hear the words whispered in the darkness. Around the sacrificial chamber, both male and female mages pace around as they stand guard, occasionally talking to one another. Suddenly, they all go silent as a tall shadow appears at the top of the stairs.
君たちは下がっていいよ。
His tone is steady, polite even. However, the mages look surprised to see him.
シーラン様のご指示で来たのかしら。
Alkaid nods gently.
おかしいわね。もうここには来ないと思っていたけど。
Alkaid lowers his head, hair falling forward and concealing his expression. By the time he looks up, he seems as calm and gentle as ever.
そうだね。でも、これも私の役目なんだ。
He quickly walks to the sacrificial chamber. Located underneath the palace, the chamber has quite an eerie atmosphere. The only source of light comes from the magic torches along two sides of the room. Alkaid looks at the large bird cage. He doesn't walk over to it immediately. Instead, he turns to inspect the altar at the other side of the room. He looks a little down. His words are no louder than a mumble.
役目か。
He frowns as he nears the birdcage and extends his fingertips, which begin to glow. He channels magic energy into the vines wreathed around the cage, commanding them to release me. However, I'm in terrible shape. Up until now, I've been bound by the magic thorns, and my arms are drenched in blood. But I'm a fighter. Me when I'm a fighter. The wounds are a result of me struggling to escape, but as I try to pry the thorns off myself, the wounds had left marks all over my body. Alkaid walks over to me, wordlessly, and casts a healing spell on my wounds. Because he's amazing and so sweet and kind and cute and so cute and kind and amazing. He's amazing. I'm unsure how much time has passed, but as I open my eyes, I discover I'm still inside the cage. However, this time, the door of the cage is ajar. I hesitate to open it further, recollecting what happened before. I tried using my Illustra to break free, but it hadn't ended well for me. But now, I don't seem to be injured nor bound. In fact, I feel pretty well rested and brimming with energy. I look around and spot a familiar figure on the other side of the room.
気がついた?
Hey, you're finally awake. Sorry. Okay, did you free me from those thorns?
今のうちに何か食べておいた方がいい。朝になったら、私もここを出なければならないから。
Alkaid brings me a bowl of pumpkin soup. It's hearty and thick, and just the right temperature. I wonder if he used magic to keep it warm. I drink in small sips while he watches me. The sadness and guilt in his eyes are even more striking than before. Why do you look so sad? After all, we've only just met. I know I've been, handed a cruel fate, but you have no reason to feel sorry for me.
君は外の世界の人間だ。本当は、この世界のことに巻き込まれるべきじゃないんだ。
Alkaid is so freaking... Alkaid deserved so much better in this world. He deserved so much better in this world. He's the sweetest, kindest little thing, and he deserved so much. I completely agree with you. Finally, someone with their head screwed on right. At least Alkaid agrees that all this has nothing to do with me. Alkaid continues to watch as I finish my soup, then picks up the bowl and spoon.
夜明けまでは、この部屋を好きに使うといい。痕跡はすべて私が消しておくから安心して。
He's so freaking... I love him. Thank you. Alkaid steps back, allowing me to walk around the room. Around inside the room. I look around and notice that the birdcage is a recent addition. The altar at the other end of the room, however, looks like it's older than the room itself. A sudden flashback of the moment when I was transported to this world comes to... I get a sudden flashback of the moment when I was transported to this world. This same room. Birdcage, the altar, the... Zuru. I concentrate harder and see a young lady wearing a white dress lying on the ground. I stop walking and then turn to Alkaid. Hey, you're a mage too. Do you know how I was summoned here? Look, can you tell me? I'm not asking you to set me free or anything, but using me as a sacrifice is just wrong. See, in my world, we have machines and tools that can melt ice and snow. With those, no one would need to die. I know you said that glacial butterflies aren't actually butterflies, and that chemical pesticides aren't enough to kill them, but maybe after a couple more research trips, we'll find a way to deal with them? Alkaid remains silent, then gently shakes his head after a while.
ごめん。それはできない。君をこの世界に呼び出す術はとても大変だったんだ。
I never know when they're done speaking, because the Japanese lines go on way longer than like what you're reading sometimes, so I never know. Alkaid's voice falters as he talks, almost petering out entirely as he finishes. A sudden realization comes over me. The Zisuru on the ground and the young lady held captive for two identical events to occur in different worlds is more than just a coincidence. It has to be... I have a vague idea of what's happening here, but I can't be sure. Alkaid... As I attempt to formulate my thoughts and speak, Alkaid suddenly turns to look at the entrance. He then snaps back around and urges me to in a hushed tone.
Shh. 誰か来た。隠れて。
Footsteps can be heard from beyond the door. I rush behind the birdcage to avoid raising suspicion. Alkaid goes to greet the person outside.
ロタツ様、祭司の間から物音がしたので確認に参りました。
異常はない。下がりなさい。
よい。
Alkaid dismisses the servant with a steady tone. However, just as he dismisses her, a blade of light shoots towards him. The servant in blue is no servant after all, but a mage. What's more, it seems she's not from the Magic Tower. Alkaid deflects the spell, but is suddenly surrounded by armed enemies. Seems that this attack was planned. The spy mage dashes over to me.
我々は反乱軍です。白銀の騎士の命を受け、あなたを助けに参りました。あなたが生贄になる必要はございません。
彼女に助けなど必要ない。
Alkaid darts in front of me, and before I can react, the rebels fall to the ground as if they were struck by some invisible force. Reinforcements step in to replace them. Under the command of the spy mage, the rebels launch a coordinated attack against Alkaid and me. Wait, what kind of rescue is this? Time to fight! What's the level? What level are my cards? Oh, I forgot we got new ones. Oh, I forgot that I have the... Clarance. I forgot. Okay, we're 13. We should be fine for now. Pog. Just sit back and relax. Oh shoot. Whoa. Oh cool, that up their attack.
僕の
Pog.
剣はいつでも君のためだけに掲げよう。
Cool.
君のために戦えることを光栄に思うよ。
Ooh, level 5. Hold on, do I get a thing? Pog. I'm gonna save pulling for next week because, but right now, because we're like right before the, what's it called? We're right before I forgot. We're right before the new event, so we don't have any like specific banners to pull on except for the main one, and so I'm gonna wait. Arcade casts a magical light barrier to deflect their attacks, protecting me from their onslaught. Conjuring up a blade of light, he thrusts it at the spy. Freaking die with a blade of light. Oh my gosh, it's a lightsaber. However, she simply responds with a bone-chilling laugh.
さすがは魔法刀の旧石。手強いわね。
Without warning, the rebel mage, clenches her teeth and bites down on something. Then her whole body goes limp, and she collapses on the floor. Suddenly, a swarm of glacial butterflies bursts out of her, flocking towards Alcade and me. Alcade, watch out! The terrifying creatures strike without care for a friend or foe. Mage has committed martyrdom? Question mark? An attack that an attack made at the cost of her life. I feel my heart beating faster as her true purpose dawns on me. She didn't come here to rescue me. She came here to make sure I never became their sacrifice. The rebels originally planned to rescue me, but after that failed, they had no choice but to kill me. However, it still ended in the same way.
危ない。
Seeing me distracted, Alcade pulls me towards him. He wrenches me away from the incoming danger. With a jolt of guilt for spacing out now. Now of all times, I ready myself to fight against the remaining glacial butterflies. You took a hit from the butterflies for me, didn't you? Are you hurt?
私は大丈夫だよ。
He's so fine, legitimately. Alcade stretches out his arm, but did that really happen? The glacial butterflies somehow merged into his body without leaving a trace. He's literally so fine. He looks around the battle-scarred room. The floor is covered in bodies. The walls are scarred with ice blasts and frost spells.
少し厄介なことになったな。これだけ派手に争ってしまっては、シーラン様の目はごまかせないだろう。
What do we do? Should I hide in the cage while you clean this up? Okay, looks at me and shakes his head.
間に合わないと思う。
clatter of weapons and the sound of guards from the clatter of weapons and the sound of guards come from outside. I feel my heart slowly sinking deeper and deeper. Alcade grabs hold of my wrist.
もう見てるだけは嫌なんだ。こっちへ。
Pog. Suspension bridge effect, but Alcade. Alcade pulls me out of the door by my hand. Seems he's about to face the guards head on. A dim light radiates around his hand and then disperses, enveloping both of us. I hold my breath as the guards charge right towards us.
誰もいない。反乱軍に連れ去られたんだ。
The guards storm right past me and Alcade as if we're invisible.
静かに。私から離れないで。
Pog. He's literally so cool and awesome. Alcade whispers softly as his starlight covers both of us. It radiates from our interlocking hands and envelops us in a glistening magical barrier. It's light magic. By manipulating the frickin' can't read. Pressing the wrong buttons, doing everything wrong. It's light magic. By manipulating the refraction of light, Alcade can control what others nearby can see. Covered by the magical barrier, he leads us through the twisting corridors and endless staircases as we pass by countless guards, search patrols, and even other mages. We eventually arrive at a small corridor with a hidden door.
おいで。ここなら安全だ。
Fog. My eyes widen as the narrow door opens to reveal a small room that is both neat and clean. It contains a bed and a dresser, and even candle stands and books. Okay, what is this place?
しばらくここにいてほしい。大丈夫。必ず私が君を守るから。そろそろ行かないと。君の捜索に参加しなければ、私が疑われてしまうからね。
Okay takes another look at me, carefully reminding me again before he leaves.
いいかい？絶対にこの部屋から出てはいけないよ。
Hog. Now we have somewhere to stay that isn't the cage. Just as Alcade commanded, I stay hidden in the secret room. Night was very chaotic. The rebels haven't planned on saving my life during their attack. Their only goal was to destroy the sacrificial offering to prevent the Descendants ritual from taking place. If those spies really are acting under the orders of the Silver Knight, then the Silver Knight in this world can't be the same noble and pure character from my manga. Mulling over all of this makes me extremely thankful for Alcade, who diligently protected me the entire way. However, I have suspicions. Who does this secret room belong to, and how does Alcade know about it? I investigate the items in the room. I find crushed petals and gem dust on the table, along with a roll of parchment and with strange writing on it. Water mirror taboo? Never seen this language before, but somehow I can read it and understand it. It mentions something about a water mirror, which sounds familiar to me.
シリンの水鏡でお前のいた世界を見たことがある。お前のそばにいるときは白銀の騎士は確か妖剣と名乗っていたな。
How the frickin' heck do I say that name? Alona? Question mark? Mayhaps. Is she the girl who resembles Naledi? So, Alona was the one who summoned the water mirror, but she was also sacrificed in the end. She was the price that they had to pay to bring me here. there's no way to tell time in the underground room. But I guess that there's literally a clock. I mean, I guess you can't know for sure if it's correct or if it's moving, but there's literally a clock. It's right there. There's a clock right there. Anyway. But I guess it's late in the evening. I keep thinking about the girl in Godheim named Alona. In my world, she'd probably have been a student at her age. How long was she kept in that underground chamber? Eventually, I managed to fall asleep, despite being plagued by troubling thoughts. I'm soon woken up by a knocking at the door. I assume it's Alcade visiting again, so I open the door slightly. It's not Alcade.
そんなに意外だったか?
Yikes. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Woo! Who's that? I wonder. I take a sudden step back and try to slam the door shut. Before I can, the man reaches out and reaches out a hand and props it up and open. I can't speak.
僕が来たぐらいでいちいち慌てるな。それでよくスージーが連れてきた連中を撃退できたな。
What do you want? I've never heard of this Susie he mentioned. Could she be the spy? Oh, bye-bye, Zerino! Have fun shopping. Could she be the spy that was impersonating a servant? Ian avoids my question and simply shrugs.
今、皇帝は兵を総動員してお前を探している。反乱軍がお前を連れ去ったと思い込んでいるんだ。たく、迷惑な話だ。
Your fault. Your problem. Can't help you, Lamau. Suddenly, footsteps can be heard outside. In the blink of an eye, Ian shrouds himself in his cloak and bends into the shadows. Alcade appears at the top of the stairs with a lamp in his hand. It illuminates the steps below.
大丈夫?
We quickly enter the room and he shuts the door behind him.
さっきここに誰か来た?
Well, yeah. I'm sorry I scared you. I shouldn't have left the room. Kate sighs and doesn't press the issue. He clearly wants me to lay low in here while he brings me food and water each day. However, he didn't tell me just how much of a risk he'd take by doing so, especially considering everyone out there is searching for me. Okay, whose room is this?
シリンの部屋だよ。
My suspicions were correct. She a maid who trained you in the Magi Tower? Who trained with you in the Magi Tower?
シリンは私の妹なんだ。
Bro, it hurts so bad. It hurts so— he doesn't deserve this. He's so sweet and kind. His sister was murdered to bring me here. Sacrificed. Murdered. Same thing. Anyway. Sorry, I didn't know.
謝らないで。君は全然悪くない。そもそも、君は好きでこの世界に来たわけじゃないだろう。私たちが目的のために勝手に呼んだんだ。もっと強い力が欲しい。この災いから何とかして逃れたい。誰かを 何かを守りたい。でも結局。
Trails off before finishing, but I can guess the rest of what he meant to say. But in the end, couldn't even save those closest to me. He doesn't deserve this. He's actually the sweetest, kindest little thing in the whole wide world. To be fair, all of them have freaking tragic lives. And we'll get into it slowly. Alcade's sucks. And this isn't even all of it. That's the worst part. Like, the fact that his sister is dead isn't even... It's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things that happen to this poor boy. Alcade turns around and leaves. I was right. Alcade had brought me here without a plan. He couldn't bear seeing me locked up in the cage. Fortunately, it seems he doesn't know what to do next. He has every right to hate my guts. After all, on the first day we met, his younger sister had been sacrificed in order to summon me into this world. He was right. He simply wanted to protect everything and anything and everything he could. Another night passes by, and Daphnephoria draws ever closer. I'm suddenly woken by a knock at the door. I didn't read that, and I tapped it on accident, and I'm not going back. But as I reach out, an invisible force turns the lock, and the door opens with a click. Alcade pushes it wide open, steps inside, and grabs me by the arm.
ついにシーラン様ご自身が君を探すことになった。シーラン様が魔法陣を展開したら、私では君を守りきれないかもしれない。
What's your plan, Alcade?
そうだね。
He stands stock still, then glances at me. Then glances from me to the doorway with panic flashing in his eyes. Alcade's hesitation is only momentary. He dashes over to the cabinet in the room and unlocks its multiple seals. He hurriedly searches around before letting out a sigh of relief, having found what he was looking for. It seems like he made up his mind about something. Alcade takes out a small diadem.
これを君に託す。
The diadem has an exquisite design. It is embedded with beautiful crystals. There are also magic runes carved into the sides.
これはシリンが作った聖冠だ。運命に抗い、希望をもたらす魔法のアイテムだとシリンは言っていた。
I'm stunned into silence. It's clear as day what he means. Enola diadem holds great power, and by giving it to me, Alcade is saying that he's siding with me. In doing so, it will change our fates and bring us new hope. Alcade, are you sure you won't regret this? I know that I shouldn't say anything at a time like this. If Alcade does change his mind, I'll be doomed to my fate. But I still ask the question while staring deep into his eyes.
私たちの問題は私たち自身で解決するべきなんだ。君を巻き込むのは間違っている。シリンが最後の日々をここでどんな気持ちで過ごしていたのかはわからない。
Sorry. He speaks with a soft voice.
私も同じだ。私も何かを変えたい。どんな結末が待っていようと後悔はしない。
This is freaking beautiful art. The art style is so freaking good on this game. It's not... I feel like they have, like, different artists, so things are a little weird. Like, consistency-wise, but it's still really pretty no matter what. This is a really good one. As he utters those words, he places the diadem on my head and gently but firmly.
君の一番の願いを思い浮かべて。
What do I do?
願いのイメージを思い描くんだ。君には特別な力がある。故郷のことを強く思えばきっとうまくいくよ。私にとって君の存在は希望の光だった。君なら何か変えてくれるんじゃないか。私たちにできなかったことを成し遂げてくれるんじゃないかって、実は期待してたんだ。
The light of his magic converges on his fingertips and circulates around me.
私たちのことは忘れても構わない。ただ、私は君に元の世界に戻ってほしいんだ。
But if I leave, what will happen to you, Arcade?
自分の責任と運命から逃れようとは思わない。この世界がどんなに残酷でも、ここが私の生まれ育った場所だ。ここには私の守るべきものがある。でも、君は。
He purposely speaks with a gentler tone as he looks at me. His mouth twisting into a slight grin.
君は、この世界のことは夢だったと思えばいい。ただの物語だったんだって。そしていつかとても美しい春の日に思い出してくれたら嬉しい。私たちがこの世界にいたことを。
It freaking sucks. This sucks so freaking much. Because Arcade is so genuinely sweet and kind and cute and kind and sweet. And the fact that, like, he's literally giving up his life and the whole freaking world he lives in to make sure that I can go home safe. I'm slowly drawn into the void as if I'm sinking into quicksand. Countless voices call out to me from the darkness. Can't see where I'm being drawn, nor can I remember where I'm meant to be going. As if by some or instinct, I reach out and grasp something familiar among the turmoil, despite being surrounded by things that are completely alien to me. Go home. Go home. I open my eyes to see a ceiling, but it's not the familiar one from my room. I'm in some kind of institution. The room is clean and tidy with a hint of disinfectant in the air. Arcade is by my side. Noticing that I'm awake, he begins to fill me in on how I got here. Apparently, I was among those who passed out during the chaos of the Stellar's Cup. He found me there and brought me to the infirmary. Once he explained what happened, I take a moment to let it all sink in. My mind drifts to Naledi. I ask Arcade where she is and if she's safe, but he only responds with silence. After what feels like an eternity, he answers my question.
ごめん。
Dude. I remember this. so freaking well. I cried. I cried when he said that. He isn't even saying anything, but I freaking cried.
落ち着いて聞いてほしい。リンさんはあの日、心臓発作で亡くなったんだ。
She freaking died. They killed her. They said, here's a bestie. Dead. Dead. What the freaking... I feel a weight in my stomach and start to suspect that I've stepped into another nightmare. Could this have happened to Naledi?
もう少し休んだ方がいい。
Never trust a game that gives you a bestie. Freaking. You're right. Tears of Themis, the only bestie is Luke. And well. Can't say much about that one yet. Alcade's concern pulls me back to reality. I purse my lips, pretending that everything's fine. I ask him what happened at the Stellar's Cup. He says he doesn't remember seeing anything unusual. He doesn't even remember the Zisuru. He only remembers Naledi collapsing on stage due to cardiac arrest. Bringing the contest to a stark halt. After that, the room had erupted into chaos and students had rushed out. Alcade had stayed inside to look for me, eventually finding me unconscious backstage. Something didn't quite add up, though. For some reason, I was in a dress instead of my regular clothes. Professor Heinrich said that the dress was a costume and that the school had provided. Apparently, he asked me to be an extra on the TV show.
女子に君の着替えをお願いして、それから病院に運んだんだ。お医者さんは突然の出来事にショックを受けて気を失っただけで問題ないって言ってたよ。
Alcade mentions that the dress wasn't the only strange thing they found. He opens up a drawer and pulls out something. The diadem. I don't want to worry Alcade, so I discharge myself from the infirmary and head home. St. Shelter Academia had recently announced that the next semester would be delayed due to the Stellar's Cup incident. On my way home, the once bustling campus now looks like a wasteland. It feels like yesterday that posters for the Stellar's Cup were passed everywhere. Reflecting on all that's happened, I'm left in stunned silence. I'm certain now that my journey to another world was not merely a dream. How could Naledi's death reverberate across both worlds? Her death in the real world proves that the malice, conflict, and redemption in the other world were all real. Everything there had really happened. It all started when Naledi collapsed on stage, and at the exact same time, Alona must have fallen to the ground in the other world. Being the first person on stage, the Stellar's Cup being early, even the mix-up with the temporary dormitory resulting in us meeting each other. Everything seems to have been arranged with perfect precision, and all the events that led up to this can be traced back to one person, Professor Heinrich. I want to speak to Kale, but he doesn't pick up when I call him. I ask around the academy for him, but I am told that he might not be on campus because he has another job. I was originally dying to get home, but now that I'm back, I'm faced with one problem after another with no end in sight. Right now, the mysteries in this world are just as hard to fathom as those in the other one. Oh, it's you guys! It's chat! You guys meowed. Chat is as carefree as ever. biting my shoelace and begging for food. I open a can of wet food for him. My mind brims with thoughts before drifting back to Naledi once again. I remember her face as she popped her head out from her dorm window, her timid but genuine smile, and how she waved goodbye to me as I left on that fateful day. Without realizing, I find myself looking through my in-passing manuscript. Perhaps I had too much on my mind after my journey to Godheim. Just wanted to flick through my sketches and relax a little. However, I'm shocked by what I find. After what was supposed to be the final page, more sketches have appeared. They start with the Emperor attempting to marry the young lady, but then she vanishes. Meanwhile, the Silver Knight is revived among icy gales and calls out for the young lady, but receives no answer. Then the Silver Knight and the Emperor have another face-off in a storm. This time though, they're fighting in the central plaza. The sketches end with the snowstorm blanketing everything in a layer of sheer white. And the final storyboard is entirely blank. Out of nowhere, my manuscript has transformed, seemingly of its own accord. Could this have something to do with my journey to Godheim? Could my manga be connected to Godheim somehow? I quickly reach for a pen, as soon as the thought hits me, a daring idea forms in my mind. Could I somehow alter the world of Godheim? With that thought, I start drawing a giant sun poised high above the sky, and then coloring the snow, and then begin coloring the white snow in an attempt to melt it. However, as soon as I stop sketching, the marks I have made seem to soak into the paper without leaving a trace. The story is no longer under my control. It means that I cannot influence the events of another world with my pen alone. The revival of the Silver Knight and the Storm. That's how Godheim's story ends. Before now, I would have been ecstatic. What the? Sorry, okay. Before now, I would have been ecstatic that my manga had spontaneously written its own ending, given how long I've been stuck on it. But now, all I can feel is dread. I flip through my manuscript and discover that more pages have been added to the front as well as the back. They're all fragmented storyboards. One shows Ian galloping on a black horse, and another shows Alcade casting golden light to purge glacial butterflies. These images illustrate my experiences in Godheim, which convince me that the changes in my manuscript are certainly linked to that world. I continue to flick through the pages. On the very last page, I see a young lady with a calm composure. She looks as if she's ready and waiting to disappear at any time. Dressed in all white, she clasps her hands in prayer before the altar. This Naledi? It can't be. The young lady is a spitting image of her. Her expression is serene but sad at the same time. I try to stop flicking through the altered manuscript, but I can't help myself. The pages shifting and changing, showing me the events that are happening in Godheim. Everyone in the other world seems busy as Daphnephoria approaches. I see Ian leaping down from sprinting into a deep cavern. Despite the darkness, his movements are swift and agile. It seems He's by himself and not with his fellow Inquisitors. I also see Alcade, who keeps appearing in the snow under a starry night sky. He seems to have taken on a number of arduous missions for the Magi Tower. He goes on journeys to uninhabited lands and battle with glacial butterflies. I hesitate before turning to the page that shows the face-off between the Emperor and the Silver Knight in the central plaza. This is the final confrontation between the two on the day of the Descendants ritual. I flick through the pages, skipping forward to find out what happens to Alcade. I see him guarding a corner of the Zisuru. Nearby, a fellow mage with a grim look on his face suddenly approaches and attacks Alcade. I pause for a second. I understand that the Descendants ritual is a gross injustice that has cost the lives of both Naledi, Alona, and I'm supposed to be the next sacrifice. However, I can't bear to see Alcade attacked like this. I decide to change what happens in the scene and draw a something and a water bucket falling from the sky and hitting the mage who is attacking Alcade. But just as before, everything that I draw quickly disappears. Forget it. It has nothing to do with me now. I grumble to myself as I put my pen away. The manga has left me at my wit's end ever since I returned from Gottheim. Even if they can't exterminate all the glacial butterflies, there is no way that the world would be engulfed by a snowstorm overnight. Whoa, I can't freaking read. Hello? With my eyebrows knitted in thought, I start drawing myself in one of the pages, wearing an outfit from Gottheim. I didn't expect it to work, but strangely, the drawing of me doesn't disappear like everything else I've drawn. I fall silent for a long time, analyzing every inch of the scene in which the mage attacks Alcade. Pog. Fight, fight, fight. Stretch. Attack up.
猫の爪を侮ると痛い目に遭うぞ。
僕の剣はいつでも君のためだけに掲げよう。君のためなら命も惜しくない。
Alright. Ooh. 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 Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Another one of my dailies. Another one of the dailies. Does. Alcade climbs the ladder. Hog. Ha 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 ha. I'm glad you invited me to go fishing. Does fishing really make you this happy? It's not all because of fishing. He loves me! He's in love with me! I don't want to fish anymore. Clarence is like canonically like really good with animals and they're like drawn to him. So fishing just results in getting the line caught by fish every time for him. Based on what I'm guessing here. Anyway, that was it. Ooh, practice mode. Okay. The young lady in white kneeling by the altar, and the magic water mirror standing beside her. She lays it flat on the ground and taps it
あなたが
twice.
これを聞く頃には、私はもうこの世にいないでしょう。彼らはあなたをこの世界の生贄として迎えようとしている。だから私が最後の一人になるわ。大丈夫よ。私の後にきっと希望をもたらしてくれる人が現れると信じている。
I have another dream again. I forget the details, but I remember what it was about. I remember it was about Godheim. I can also recall a gentle and pleasant voice. As the story in my manuscript unfolds, I see that Godheim is approaching the Daphnephoria. I keep telling myself that I should push all my thoughts about Godheim out of my mind. After all, Alkaid sent me back to free me from their troubles. But I can't stop myself from picking up the ever-changing manuscript again. This time, the ending is much clearer than before. On the day of the Descendants ritual, Alkaid is attacked by a defector from the Magi Tower. In the end, the central plaza is engulfed in a mighty snowstorm. I look at the black and white images over and over again, running my fingers over the scene where Alkaid is attacked by the traitorous mage. Suddenly, a thought comes to me. If I draw myself in the scene, perhaps I can block the attack. No, this has nothing to do with me. Alkaid had nothing to do with me either, yet he saved me from that birdcage. Take a deep breath, trying to draw more clues from the manga. I need to find a way back to Godheim without paying such a heavy price like before. Even if it seems impossible, I need to try. There's no other option. In the last panel of my manga, I draw myself standing in the snow-covered central plaza. I consider adding myself to earlier panels too. Perhaps that will show me how to get there. I try adding myself into one of the frames, which causes a shadowy cave to appear. A place I've never seen before, but somehow it feels familiar. The entrance bears a warning sign, "No entry." It suddenly comes to me. This sign is from my world. It's the mountain cave below the observatory at the academy. I try to remember where the mountain cave is. I recall William telling me about it on my first day. With this in mind, I prepare to leave. I can't bear not knowing what's going on in the other world. I resolve to help. I resolve to help in whatever way I can. I bring along the diadem Alkaid gave me and head to the observatory. Located on the mountain at the back of the academy, the cave is desolate inside and covered in vines. A no entry sign hangs askew outside the entrance. I move the sign hesitantly and then head back inside. The mouth of the cave isn't particularly large, but the inside is vast. I noticed some irregular marks on the ground, which belong to the Zisuru. However, the marks of the Susuru don't react to my touch. This place doesn't seem to be a route to another world. In fact, coming here feels like a stupid idea now. I ponder what to do. I take a deep breath to calm myself. My countless dreams of Godheim have left me familiar with its carvings and patterns, including the marks of the Susuru itself. If it's incomplete, then perhaps I can finish it. I take out my pencil and try to connect the broken lines. As soon as I complete it, a bright light gathers around me. Suddenly, I feel myself floating in midair as the world around me turns upside down. Then, I fall to the floor with a thump. So, as much as I would love to continue, and I want to continue because I love this story, my throat hurts really bad. And I don't know what to do about it. But I don't think I can read much more. Like it hurts really bad. So I think I have to call it. And I don't want to, because I want to keep playing, but I genuinely don't think I can keep reading. So, regretfully, I'm going to say goodbye now. It's only an hour and a half. I feel so short, but I can't. I don't think I can continue. I'm going to call it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry today was so short, but my throat really hurts. But I will see you all tomorrow, and then I'll be gone for the weekend. But tomorrow we'll play Stardew, okay? I promise. I'll see you all later, okay? Bye bye bye!